Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Silas, and today I wanted to talk to you guys about a plugin actually that I've been using for the last month or so, which is called Dehancer. And if you haven't heard of what Dehancer is, it's basically a video plugin for DaVinci Resolve, After Effects, and Final Cut Pro, which is what I use, that allows you the tools to make your footage or make your videos look more filmic through film stock simulation, color grading, and a couple of effects such as like halation or bloom or grain. Things that you may have heard just offhand from someone else where they're talking about film look, but for someone like me who just started doing camera stuff and owning a camera, actually my first camera was in, I believe it was January or February 2020. It's been, 3 years and I'm still relatively new, and so I've always been really intrigued and fascinated by people who can create this filmic look, and I never knew how to do that. It wasn't as simple as just slapping on like a mist filter onto my lens, which I have done, and it does help kind of create that dreamy look that I've been trying to achieve as well. But Dehancer again has just given me this opportunity to be able to explore a world that I've always wanted to enter into. So this isn't necessarily a tutorial on how to make your video look like a beautiful film look, because I'm still learning, and in a month is just not enough time for me to be able to play around with everything. But I just wanted to talk about my experiences with it and, well, my excitement of being able to have something like this at the palm of my hand. So halation is basically when there is a flaw in the film that kind of shows up as this red glow around the brighter parts of your images or in the highlights of your image. So I kind of just see it as a part where if it's a brighter part of the image, there's gonna be this weird like red outline or this red glow basically that kind of shows up in your footage. I don't really use it too often, although I do know it does go hand in hand in creating that filmic look. So you can go pretty intense with it. I kind of don't keep it so intense because for myself and my taste and my liking, I don't really like it showing a huge red outline too prominently anyways. So I kind of just have it pretty minimal in most of my shots. But I will put some footage up here with it off and with it on, just to show you guys what it does look like when you guys do put on the halation effect on your footage. Now, included in the program is also a lot of film stock. Now for myself, I don't really know what they're supposed to look like based on the original, but for those of you who have been in the film world much longer and kind of know more and more experience in it, you guys will know the accuracy of the film stock that Dehancer has. I personally just saw it as, in my comparison, kind of like a LUT. You have a lot of different options you can choose from, and these options change the color and the look of your footage or your image. So I went through each one by one. Some of them are subtle, some of them are way more extreme. So of course you have both spectrums of what you can choose from, and of course there's in-betweens as well. But I did find just a couple that I liked, and I just wanted to share with you guys because personally I don't know if I would use the film stock option too much. It's there for me to use, and like I said, I have found some that I do like, but again, I just prefer coloring my footage the way it is and then using the other effects that Dehancer has that I'm going to talk about soon. So for this next effect, film grain, this is probably the hardest one for me to kind of talk about because I never really understood why people wanted to put film grain onto their footage. In my mind, I always thought it was like adding extra noise to your footage. And in my head, I'm like, well, why would I want to do that? I'm trying to get the exposure properly, get my ISOs low so that you don't introduce too much noise. And it always just felt like, wow, why would I want to do that? I like my image looking really clean, looking very pristine, I guess you could say. But there is something of that kind of pristineness, don't even know if that's a word, of the footage where film grain can help. It kind of helps take a little bit of the edge off of your video, makes it seem a little bit more natural, because with the technology nowadays, like with footage, and I didn't really come to realize this until I had actually watched Brandon Lee's video on this, saying that footage nowadays from these cameras that are advancing so quickly, they look almost unreal, like too clean. And by adding this film grain, you can kind of add this kind of character to it, and you can kind of bring it back into a more organic feeling. And after playing around with film grain a little bit on like some test footage and kind of trying it out, I understood what he meant by that. I understood where he was coming from when he said, hey, sometimes footage nowadays just looks a little bit too clean. So let's try to dial it back a bit and try to again make it seem more, I'll say human in a sense. I'll do some comparison footage right now. It's gonna be really hard to see because of the compression that YouTube does and the compression that you put on Instagram or even TikTok or anything like that. But trust me when I say that it is a tool that I really underappreciated when I first got it and got to play around with the plugin. But now I really, really appreciate the ability to be able to add something like this into my footage. So now let's talk about my favorite effect from the plugin, which is the bloom effect. In which basically what it does, it takes the lights from your footage and it softens it out, kind of makes it glow a bit more, makes it look more dreamy. Now this is usually achieved or can be achieved through using filters like the Tiffin Black Pro Mist, which is what I have and I use. The Moment Cine Bloom as well, and I'm sure there's other ones as well, but those are the two that I kind of just know of. But you stick it onto your lens, it has the filter on, and what it does is it also softens your image because it takes all the lights and it kind of like gets that glow. Now it isn't necessarily a bad thing to do that, but I know in some circumstances, like for example, let's say I'm doing a real estate video and I forget to take my filter off. Well, now my footage is very softened and everything's kind of all glowy and dreamy, which isn't necessarily something that you want your real estate video to look like, It does help make things look more cinematic, but sometimes if you do forget, you can create footage where you can't really bring back that sharpness and you want it because of a specific video that you are trying to shoot. So with the plugin, now you're able to just shoot footage without it, and then you can just kind of go back into whatever editing software you're using and you can put it in post. And you can change the intensity of it and all of that. And I think that's so amazing. Does that mean it's going to completely replace using without having to use the filters? I wouldn't say so necessarily, but just being able to have that ability to have all your footage just shot with the lens and no filter on, and then you go back home and you're like, hey, you know what would look really cool in this shot? If I had a little bit of bloom in it. You drag and drop it on, you kind of fine tune the intensity and what you want it to do, and boom, now your shot is bloomed. So with some footage, with it off and with it on, so you can kind of tell the difference of what it would look like. So with the side-by-side comparisons of effects on and off and everything, I never really have put footage of everything working together at the same time. So I wanted to show you guys maybe like 10 to 20 seconds of footage showcasing what it could look like when you have everything working together. I hope you guys enjoyed watching that short reel of footage that I put together of me attempting to make it look filmic. I don't really think it did, but if it did, I guess I did a pretty good job. And if not, if you guys have any tips or tricks or advice of how to kind of dial in that look, I would really, really love for you guys to comment below and let me know so that I can read it and try to learn more and more. With that being said, there were a couple of effects I didn't talk about, which was the vignette, the film breath, and the gate weave. Vignette, I think is a bit self-explanatory, but if not, I know for photography I use it a fair amount, but I call it the dark oval that slowly encroaches into your into your photo. It's kind of like darkens kind of the corners first, I always say, and it kind of slowly, the more you do it, it kind of creates this kind of like circle. I kind of use it more as a tool to direct the focus of people onto the subject. Though I don't use it like too often depending on the image, but I'm sure with the video you can do that kind of same effect or whatever the vignette would be for. For film breath and gate weave, I just haven't really experimented on it or done much research on those two, so I didn't feel very comfortable trying to inform you guys about it. But I'm sure Dehancer has a description of both of them that you guys can read, and other YouTubers would have videos where they're way more knowledgeable than me and they would be able to explain that to you. Dehancer also has a phone app that you can download. Now you have Dehancer in the palm of your hand. It's pretty simple, and the footage I'm going to show you for the screen recording is going to be the trial version because I just have the trial version just to try it out and see what it's like. But from what I understand and what I remember, you just take the photo or the video, whichever one you're looking to post on your Instagram or even just post in general anywhere. You would have it there, and then you can pick the different looks, like the film stocks and a little bit of editing. So now you can get a filmic look on your picture or video that you can post on your social media instantaneously instead of having to come home, put your footage onto your computer, edit it all, and then after that, export it, and then et cetera, et cetera. And with that being said, that is the end of this video. Thank you guys very much for watching. I know it's probably a little bit longer than most of my videos are, but I really just wanted to talk about Dehancer because it is just this plugin that has allowed me to open my horizons to a bunch of new ways of looking at footage and filmmaking and just giving me, again, these tools to help me grow as a filmmaker. So if you guys liked the video, feel free to like the video if you'd like. That'd be kind of cool. And I already talked about tips and tricks and commenting that, but if you guys want to talk about gear, which I got a new lens and I've been using it a lot, so I'm hoping to make a video about that as well. Please comment below and talk about that, maybe new gear you got or gear you're looking forward to, or even just talking in general, because I want to have conversations with you guys, because I want to get to know you guys better. And if you guys want to see more content from me, which I don't post too often, I keep on saying I will post more, but I don't, just because work's been pretty busy, especially summertime. Real estate just kind of pops off, so it's just so busy. I'm being booked like 1 or 2 weeks in advance. But if you want to see more content from me in the future, feel free to subscribe, because I would really, really, really appreciate that. So thank you guys very much for watching this video, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.